So good morning, everyone. My name is Tara Kirkpatrick, and I'm the Manager of Economic Development at the United Counties of Stormont, Dundas, and Glengarry. We're very excited to host this session this morning to talk about women entrepreneurship on the International Day of Women. And we are honored to have some great guests here today. The first one is our guest host, which is SDG Warden Karma Williams. Karma serves as Deputy Mayor of North Glengarry Township. She's also a successful businesswoman and has been a participant with the Maxwell Chamber of Commerce for many years. I'm delighted to introduce her as our first speaker today. I leave the floor to you, Karma.
Well, thank you very much, Tara. It is certainly a pleasure to be here today. It's not often I get to talk about my business. It's probably one of the best kept secrets that I have. People tend to know me through my political career. But admittedly, things did start out for me as a businesswoman. And I guess my journey to entrepreneurship did start with volunteerism. I think there's little doubt about that. Tara referenced the Maxwell District Chamber of Commerce. And, you know, when my husband and I moved here, I live and work in Maxwell. We moved here from the Yukon, as a matter of fact, which is where we lived only for 4 years, but that's where our son was born. And then we moved back home, shall we say, to the small town of Maxwell, which is where we decided that it was a great place to raise a family. And once here, I decided it was time to get involved in the community. So I put myself out there, and I have to say that it's probably those years of volunteering my time, and really it was a natural and organic process, I would say, of developing those skills in leadership roles. It takes time to develop the confidence to be able to know that you can be a community leader. Some people, I guess, come into it just knowing, but I had to work at it. And so those times that I worked, you know, as a volunteer at the Pioneer Museum in Dunvegan, and then my role in the Chamber of Commerce, where I eventually became the president for several years. And we really managed to get some good work done. And that gave me, like I said, the confidence to strike out on my own. And so when we arrived in Maxwell, we had a son, as I said, and our second child came along shortly after that. And my husband and I were both working in Ottawa at the time, and both commuting back and forth every day and in all types of weather, and, you know, putting the kids in daycare at 7 in the morning, coming home, picking them up at 7 at night, and then doing it all over again. And that's when the classic sort of work-life balance issue became quite an issue. And, you know, this is the challenge that many families face, but women in particular are faced with that issue, because they are, you know, often primarily the caregivers, and so have that responsibility not only for bringing in an income, but to be there for their children. And sometimes that involves some sense of guilt. On my part, it didn't really, but I did want to be able to spend more time with my children, and I needed to make an income at the same time. So I started thinking, what can I do? And the idea came before the actual action part did. I'd been cutting my family's hair for years. I'm not doing a very good job at it, as a matter of fact, but I was doing it all the same, and everybody relied on me. So I thought, well, that's probably something I can do. So maybe I should go into business for myself. And my family was very supportive of the idea, including my parents. And so I started thinking about, well, maybe I could get into hairstyling, not just hairstyling, but mobile hairstyling. I could travel to people's homes and do hair in their home. And then that way I wouldn't be stuck in a salon working on other people's schedules. I could have my own schedule, and therefore I could be there for my family when I wanted to. The problem was I was not a trained hairstylist. So I needed to think about how I was going to get trained before I could go into business. So the first thing I did was I quit my job. I worked at CIBC in Ottawa, and my in-laws thought I had lost my mind. They thought I was crazy. What are you doing, quitting your job? Good job when you can have that security. And so for the first time in my life, I was not financially independent, which is a big deal. And so I grappled with that, but I decided that I was determined that I was going to be able to be successful. And so I went into figuring out how I was going to get trained. And that's where resources come into play. And I know you're going to be hearing more about these types of resources for entrepreneurs this morning. But I then went out, started knocking on doors to find out who would give me some money to get trained as a hairstylist. And sure enough, I found somebody who was willing to give me money. It was the federal government. It was a program, and this program actually, because I wrote a business case about the mobile hair salon I was going to open, and all the great successes it was going to be, and they thought it was a good idea. So they actually paid for my training, which back 25 years ago was fairly expensive. They also paid to have my children put in daycare, which enabled me to do this, which otherwise I would have been challenged to do it, and probably it would not have been possible. So after a year of training, then I launched my business, and it was interesting. The launch of the business, believe it or not, was very easy. Entrepreneurship's not a simple thing, and it depends on what you're getting into as to how simple it is. And overhead is a really big problem for a lot of people who are getting into business for themselves. In my case, it wasn't, because I already had a hairstyling bag that was full of things like scissors and combs and brushes and a hair dryer. All I needed was one other bag that I could put my coloring and perming products in, and I was ready to go. My overhead was my car and my products, which was not significant. So that gave me a leg up immediately in terms of starting this business. I also had advertising that I did, but because this business, which I assumed was going to be a big success at the start, it took off very quickly. Because this is a service people wanted. They wanted to be able to come home and relax in their house and have me come over after their long day of work. And I would take care of their hairstyling needs in their home. I could cut their kids' hair. As a matter of fact, women could gather together and drink wine while I did their hair. It was really, in some cases, it was a real event for some people. So that went very well for me, and I did that full time for some years while my kids were in school. They're now grown and moved out of the house, and I have a son-in-law and hopefully some grandchildren soon. And I am now really only doing this business part-time, because I have two other part-time jobs as well. But I would say that the business that I got into absolutely contributed to the direction I went in my political career, because it helped me gain that confidence that I could be successful in a business. So why could I not be successful in politics? So that's my story, and thank you very much.
Karma, thank you so much for telling us about a little bit about your journey of your own business and your growth. And I know it's been a long path with a lot of successes along the way, and we appreciate your forthrightness on it.
Thank you.
So next up, I wanted to discuss a little bit about what the counties does in terms of women entrepreneurship. So as Karma mentioned, there's a lot of opportunities to help women entrepreneurs in particular right now launch their businesses. At the United Counties of SDNG, one of our priorities is to help launch business. It's to support businesses where we can. In my role as the manager of economic development, a large part of my job is actually dedicated to being a concierge of sorts to our young business owners so that we can help them find the resources that they need. So when we speak to businesses who are growing or launching, we listen to their stories and we're trying to find out, how can we help you? And that honestly is the position that we're doing at the counties. And it's a position as well at your local municipalities. In economic development, our job is to be there for you and to lead you to the resources you might need. Some of the tools that we have at our disposal are county-led initiatives. So at SDG counties, we have a unique program that is referred to as the SDG Regional Incentives Program. This program was developed specifically to help launch and grow businesses. It provides cost-sharing funding, so 50% up to maximum allowabilities, to help make upgrades to buildings and infrastructures so that people can launch their business. If you're purchasing or renting an old building on one of the main streets, for instance, and you look at it and you see so much potential to open a hair salon, a restaurant, a new financial services building, it could be almost anything. We're there to help support you with a number of those initiatives, and we can go through those program details of how that works. We also run tourism grants to help offset events, and events are a great way to help grow businesses. So if you've just done a agritourism event, for instance, and you're looking to promote a festival on your farm, and that's how you're going to be selling your product, there's a regional tourism grant that can help you do that. In terms of how to apply, if you go to the sdgcounties.ca website under economic development, you'll see a grant section for regional incentives program, as well as for the SDG regional tourism grants. Both programs are open now. So the first round of SDG regional tourism grants is going to be closing at the end of this month on the 25th. And for the regional incentives program, you have until April 22nd to apply for the final round this year. The program is funded at $250,000 per year. So we do fund a number of projects. We run it into 2 intake periods. With the current intake just closing, as I mentioned, we're about to go through the files in a couple of weeks and we'll be allocating funding, with the second intake projected for April. Last year, we invested $277,000 into the program, and we had a return on $2.8 million in construction projects. Construction projects are both small and large. We have factories who come to us and they tell us, we want to expand our business and we're going to add an extra 30,000 square feet, and it's going to create 100 jobs. But then we also have, as I said, small businesses who come to us and say, I need a sign. And maybe I need a new accessible door because I'm worried people can't get into my business. So we can help them equally in terms of what they're doing, because even though they're very different projects, they are meeting the goals of our program. In order to apply for the SDG Regional Incentives Program, you do have to be located within SDG counties. And we're happy to lead you to other resources that can help you on that journey. One speaker who's not with us today is the Cornwall Business and Enterprise Center, and I just wanted to give a note to talk a bit about their services as well. The Cornwall Business and Enterprise Center serves all of Akwesasne, Cornwall, and SDG counties, and they are there as well to help you launch your business. And it's a free service. The Starter Company Plus and the Summer Company program are launching imminently. Both of those programs offer new entrepreneurs the ability to go through free training courses and potentially to get grants to launch their business. It's an incredible opportunity. Shauna Baggs is the new program coordinator for that organization. She's there to help you. She's brilliant, and we're happy to help coordinate and to send you to these resources, as well as to the other speakers we have here today. I'm going to take a minute. I'm just going to show you, hopefully this works, a short video on regional incentives. So I'm just going to share my screen.
program really allowed us to expand to our needs. We're a growing company and we were running out of space very quickly. This building definitely has allowed us to carry the stock and equipment that we need to maintain that workforce. The process was easy. We had to lay out our plan and submit pictures, and it worked out really well.
Most organization has a to-do list or a vision of projects, and what this program with the counties did for us, it shortened the timelines in order to get the work and the projects done. And as you see behind me, we have these large maps and signage throughout the 400 acres of trails and our trail network. And also we had trail improvements. It's worth investigating. Every organization has their wish list and then their to-do list.
So thank you for letting me show you that. Let me just see if I can stop sharing the screen. Apologies, my computer is playing games with me. There we go. Thank you, Todd. So as mentioned, the Regional Incentives Program is a remarkable opportunity to help launch businesses and to create the infrastructures they need in terms of the buildings. So this program does not support things like the cost of, if you were opening in a cafe, it's not going to pay for the coffee makers or the equipment, but it might help you to renovate the building that you were using. In terms of the Cornwall Business and Enterprise Center's Summer Company and Starter Company Plus, Summer Company is dedicated to students, Starter Company Plus is generated towards the general public. Both of those exciting programs do offer some startup abilities. So I would encourage you to look into those programs. I'm happy to assist. I can be reached at tkirkpatrick@sdgcounties.ca, and I will include that information. And I will now leave you to the very talented Rose D'Amato of the BDC, so she can tell you a little bit about the financial services available through her organization and how she helps young businesses to launch and help to continue and enlarge others. Rose?
Okay, thanks. I wasn't sure which order I was in, so it's a surprise. I have a small slideshow that I'm going to speak to a few different resources that we have available. So if you just give me a minute, I will share my screen. I've got sorry, okay. Whoops. No, that's not working. Okay, I've got to share my screen first, I think. Give me a minute. You see it? Okay, now I just have to find the notes that I was speaking to. And please apologize, but can't seem to find them. Okay, well, I'm just going to kind of wing it then. So I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Rose D'Amato. I'm with the Business Development Bank of Canada. And I'm not sure if everybody's aware of who we are. We are a Federal Crown Corporation, and we offer financial services advisory, and we have we have an advisory group that offers a lot of different solutions to help improve your operational efficiency. So basically make you more profitable, or also to help you grow your business. Now, we do have a lot of different resources that I wanted to speak to today instead of the financial services portion of it. If you have any questions about that, I'd be happy to answer at the end of this presentation, or you can reach out to me as well. So International Women's Day, I just wanted to, sorry, I'm having problems advancing this screen. My technical abilities is not, okay. So women entrepreneurs, partners in your success. So about 5 years ago, BDC decided to really look at how we could help women entrepreneurs improve their abilities to access different resources and build their business or start their business. So what I wanted to talk to you about today is some of those resources that we have available. All of them really can be accessed through bdc.ca. So I just wanted to really go and highlight a few of them. So one of the things we decided to do was really partner with a lot of different organizations, specifically devoted to women starting businesses, growing their businesses. I believe one of them will be Pero, the Pero Center, which we partnered with many years ago, about 3 or 4 years ago, I guess, when we saw the success that they're having in Northern Ontario. And again, I mean, we are a partner with Futurepreneur as well, which does help not just women, but all entrepreneurs start their business and access funding, where they administer the loans, and we do a 2-to-1 match. So whatever they approve, if they approve 10,000 for you, we match with another 20,000. So these are all ways, but some of the resources are really based on accessing different types of resources on how to start your business, etc. We also have a variety of resources on our website where we've put together inspiring stories about women such as yourselves that have started or are looking to start a business or started a business, how they started a business, and what their success is. We also have given several different boot camps across the region, as well as Canada. We've done different boot camps for entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs, speaking to how they're starting a business, what their successes have been in their business. Some women are, some of it would be at financial literacy. Some of it would be just, how they're doing their sales and marketing, etc. We also have a Women in Tech Fund, which has been going on for a few years, where we are devoted to looking at women-led companies. So 51% women-led companies access to different types of venture capital and seed capital. And lastly, what I wanted to talk about is our supplier diversity program. So BDC decided that we wanted to open up our supplier, who are we dealing with? And so what we did is we partnered with a company that identifies women entrepreneurs who own 51% of the business. And then we developed a supplier diversity program whereby we have people register, and you can register your program as well, offering your services. So this has allowed us as BDC to access more suppliers that we weren't aware of. And it also helps our clients access more suppliers too. I've had calls from the department that runs this program saying, okay, we have somebody in Saskatchewan that's looking to access some services, and they're specifically looking for a women-led entrepreneur. Do you have anybody? So if they aren't registered, they'll reach out to us if they don't see anybody. But it's a way of registering yourself as a supplier of a services or a product and identifying yourself as a women entrepreneur, because we found that a lot of women want to actually try to support other women in businesses across Canada. So you can access that program on bdc.ca as well. Now, I didn't go into a lot of details about the programs, but I'd certainly open to any questions. I've listed the website on the, I've listed the website here, which gives you, if you just click that link, you'll go into all the different programming that are devoted specifically for women entrepreneurs at BDC. So does anybody have any questions? I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Did I stop sharing my screen?
So we do have a question from chat, so I'm just going to speak to
Okay.
it. So Rose, we have a question from somebody who wants to know if there is any support for women entrepreneurs with poor credit.
So we have, we certainly have, we look at women entrepreneurs a little bit differently on our online banking. We will consider some lower credit. It's all done on an individual basis, all of our application processes. We also, if they at that time don't meet eligibility criteria, we certainly are reaching out to PARO, because we do know that PARO does a lot of mentoring that will help bring our women entrepreneurs up to a level, because it's maybe not just credit, it may be maybe just experience or building some skills that we feel somebody needs to be looking at what they need to do. As well, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to go into what PARO does as much, but they do have micro loans that are helpful. Typically, Futurepreneur will also look at a little bit lower credit as well. And they don't look at any investment. And we do partner with Futurepreneur. So yes, we do. But again, it's on an individual basis. So a lot of the strength could be just in your background and your experience and your business plan and so on. And I would be often working with Shauna as well if she's looking at, developing that plan. So we have really a clear understanding of what the business is and does it make sense? Because I'm going to look at the problem.
Is Rose frozen?
I think we've lost Rose for the moment.
Oh my goodness. I wanted to jump in because I'll touch on the fact that we also collaborate with Rose and the BDC team with ACC Futures for financing. So yeah.
And
so
I think
I jumped in for you, Rose.
Thanks. Sorry, I just temporarily got disconnected. Don't know what happened.
It happens.
It's okay. And Rose, I thank you for answering that question. And I will also mention, depending on the situation, through the federal government, you can go through Employment Services Ontario as well. And in some cases, you could qualify for assistance through the Second Careers Program, which will offer retraining for individuals who are underemployed or unemployed. Underemployed means maybe you're only working a few hours, maybe you're working in a fast food industry and you want to have an opportunity in a different industry. It means a number of different things. The government does have specific funding to fund up to, I believe it's $25,000 towards career changes for eligible applicants. So there's a wealth of different opportunities to help either change careers and find new paths through training, or to go through various programs to launch your own business. So we're all here today to help you with those, and we all collaborate quite regularly with each other and with other players that we're happy to introduce you to, depending on your situation and how we can help. So on that note, Rose, I will ask, did you have any other comments or?
I just wanted to give a shout out. I think you've done an introduction on the CDAP program, which just was launched within the last few days. So that's the Canadian Digital Adoption Program. It's a program that is being administered by ISED, the Innovation, Science, Economic Development Canada. BDC's partnered with ISED. What it's doing is it's looking at improving your digital adoption or digital strategies and or your online selling. So we've partnered with CDAP in two ways. We will one of the first part of the program is a grant that covers up 90% of up to 15,000 of an advisory program, which BDC is one of the advisors that's listed on the vetted list. And the second thing is, once you finish that program, you will be eligible for up to 100,000 in an interest-free loan, which again is being administered through BDC's systems. It is an ISED program, so we don't have any say in the application process, but my understanding is fairly straightforward. And it's a good opportunity to improve your business growth in those two areas that you're looking at doing. And I think the Canadian federal government is certainly wants to help businesses across Canada improve that, because we are lagging compared to other nations around the world. So, but it's a good opportunity. That's all.
Thank you very much for that. I agree. It's a wonderful opportunity, and the announcements that have been coming out have been fairly regular, largely due to COVID and other factors, that there are quite a few opportunities right now to help businesses to launch and grow. So we're happy to help promote any and all of those agencies. So on that note, I'm going to jump over to Doreen Ashton-Wagner, who's wearing two hats today. She probably has a dozen in her closet. She sits on both the Business Sisters Group and ACC Futures. And I'm going to have her speak to both of those agencies and a little bit about what they do to support women entrepreneurs, as well as just general entrepreneurs as well. So these are not exclusive today, but we did want to make sure to highlight our different opportunities. So thank you for joining us, Doreen.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here. And I think from the questions that we got from Amelia, maybe an opportunity is for us to have a common page somewhere, Tara, where we've got maybe links to all these programs that are ever changing and so on. So thank you for having me. I come at you here today as an entrepreneur myself since 1998. I'm about to celebrate, an anniversary on April 1st that way. And but I'm also, because of the pandemic, had to do the good old pivot, and I'm working part-time with an organization called ACC Futures. And I'll tell you a little bit about that, and also about Business Sisters, which is a network for women entrepreneurs in rural areas. So I will do my thing with sharing my screen. And of course, this is going to be one of those interesting moments of, training when it comes to, here we go with the slideshow from the beginning. All right. And now all of a sudden, of course, the little picture of where I see your faces and you can give me a thumbs up has disappeared. So I'm flying blind here a little bit. Can you give me an auditory clue here, Tara, as to whether you see my screen okay?
We see you, but we don't see your screen yet.
Well, lovely. See, this is going to be interesting. Okay.
So if you hit the green share.
Yeah, I know. And I was trying to do that. Share. It would help if I did that, right? Now I think
now you're good.
Now we're good. All right. So slideshow from the beginning. Now we've got it. All right. So thanks for the tip there, Tara. All right. So what is ACC Futures? Today I'm hoping to give you a little bit of insight as to who we are, what do we do, what kinds of, you'll see the dollar signs, because we are an organization that lends support to entrepreneurs in a monetary way, as well as advisory services. And I'm here for your questions, which I think we'll probably keep until the end if I understand correctly. ACC Futures actually stands for Akwesasne, Cornwall, and the counties. We are a not-for-profit organization that's been around for 34 years, and we're governed by a local board, but we're part of an economic development network of rural organizations that span right across the country. There are 268 community futures development corporations across Canada. And you see the map here with rural Eastern Ontario. We specifically cover only Cornwall, Akwesasne, Cornwall, and the counties, as I mentioned. But if someone is looking for a referral to some of our sister organizations elsewhere, we're happy to do that. The one thing that the CFDC network does not do is really operate in the urban areas. That's why you're seeing the Ottawa region being in darker purple. So they don't have a CFDC as such. And actually, I'll give a shout out to our warden, Karma Williams, who used to sit on the board of the CFDC when it was then known as the Cornwall and the Counties CFDC. Why CFDC? Why ACC Futures, I should say? It's fairly new rebranding. And one of the things that we are highly committed to is economic and cultural reconciliation with Akwesasne and the Indigenous community that's right across the river here in Cornwall. So a lot of our activities have been repositioned in that way and bringing people together, hopefully. So I won't really have a whole lot of time to touch on that today, but if ever you have any questions about that, I'm happy to answer them. What we do, basically, ACC Futures acts as an information hub. And not only do we work closely with the municipalities as well as Terra and other partners like Rose at the BDC and Paro and so on, we really are there to collaborate with a lot of other organizations, including the Individual Entrepreneurs Financial Institution. Our role is not only to provide loans and financing options and sometimes to refer to grant programs, et cetera, but also to kind of be a connector. And I love the term that Tara used earlier in saying, I'm a concierge for economic development services. And absolutely, I feel I often use the term guidance counselor because, that's what I'm paid to do as well as business services advisor. So, but going into the loans and financing options, I'll just give you a quick bird's eye view. ACC Futures can provide loans of up to $300,000 with, and we go through an application process. It's typically on a prime plus 1 to 6%. And some of you may think that's high, and yes, it is. And it's precisely, at times we are here to fill that gap when an individual entrepreneur doesn't qualify at the bank. And maybe they will look to have another entity finance a portion of the project, and that's when we come in. We'll often work with an individual bank or financial institution or credit union, as well as the BDC and ourselves. So it can be a flexible arrangement. One of the, I think, biggest advantages to working with ACC Futures with loan financing is that there are flexible repayment options. And unlike often when you have a mortgage on a building, for instance, or a house, if you try to pay early, which would be a good thing, you're penalized. And those fees are not something that we charge. If an entrepreneur is so fortunate as to be able to pay off their loan early with us, that's fine, and there are no penalties. We offer some microfinancing loans. Actually, we're in SDNG and Cornwall and Akwesasne. We're the back-end administrator of loans for Paro, which I know that Kautar is going to be able to talk to. And finally, we offer some more sophisticated financing options, such as convertible debentures and even equity financing. We've been very fortunate in being shareholders of some companies in SDNG and being able to benefit from their growth for the community. In addition, I wanted to, because I'd seen some questions on Facebook with regards to programs that are grant oriented. I will caution that I know at times, and I'm going to say this, I'm going to put it out there, a lot of women look for grants, which for whatever reasons, they either don't qualify, don't take perhaps are not aware of them because they're too busy doing so many other things, so it's really difficult. But a lot of the programs that we have for grants out there are, the bar is quite high. So I'm presenting these grants that are not at all administered through ACC Futures. They exist from other entities. And hopefully when we have a chance to do a follow-up or do a post in the various channels that Tara will be posting to, we can give you the links. But some of those come and go. So for instance, one of the grant programs that's available right now is the Ontario Small Business Relief Grant from the province. Well, the deadline to apply to that is this Friday. You have to, there's a lot of stipulations, and I'll just give you the quick ones. You have to have experienced a decline of more, of 20% or more in your revenues. You also must not have benefited from any other provincial grants, such as the small business grant that took place last year, or the tourism grant. And the amount is $10,000. So I really, if you haven't had any sort of relief from the province of Ontario, and it's really also important to keep it straight. Is it federal? Is it provincial? Is it municipal, etc.? It's a bit of an alphabet soup. You'll be able to reach out to me if you need some help or guidance on that. I'll give you my contact information afterwards. Another one is the FedDev Jobs and Growth Fund, where the deadline, and I'm doing this, with perhaps a bit of a question mark. It may make some of you smile because the federal government's deadline is for the fiscal year is March 31st. Who knows what may happen in April? We think this program likely will be continued, but we're not sure. And it does provide, it's not a grant. I kind of looped it in with the grant program bucket here, but it's an interest-free loan for up to 50% of eligible costs. And it really should be, they devoted very much to things like inclusive recovery. And this is where the women entrepreneurship bucket may reside. As a woman, you're a minority when it comes to entrepreneurs. So they're looking to encourage inclusive recovery. If you're doing anything in relation to green economy, again, digital adoption and capacity building. I'm just doing that bird's eye view for now, but if you have any questions, by all means, reach out to me. Finally, under the grant bucket is the Ontario Job Creation Partnership Program, which is funding to hire an unemployed person. I really suggest that you reach out to the folks at Employment Ontario. And this program has some interesting stipulations. I put it here in the last point. When you're hiring a person for this program, it should not be part of your organization's normal day-to-day operations. So it should be kind of an add-on project that may help you propel your business forward, but not necessarily to fill a gap of an existing position. So it's a little tricky, and I'll admit that at times, and I can say that, I guess, because I don't feel I'm a government employee or anything like that. A lot of these government programs, frankly, are concocted, I will say, by people who have never been entrepreneurs, number one. And so the practicality and the administrative requirements to apply to those are kind of a little out there. But again, we're here to help and hopefully guide you in the process. So I'll entertain, maybe, I don't know how you want to do this. I can certainly have a quick look at the chat, Tara, or if you want to post some questions. Otherwise, I'll kind of switch my hats around and I can go into Business Sisters mode as well.
Thank you very much. We don't appear to have any updates in the question section right now. I will continue to ask this. So just please to note, if anyone does have questions, put them in the chat and we will ask them. And I also wanted to note that in addition to the great information that's being provided on some of the COVID relief grants, we are actually sponsoring a session next week. So on Monday, March 14th at 6 p.m. It's going to be in conjunction with the Cornwall Business Enterprise Center and Sege Financial. We're going to be going through all of the remaining COVID support. So if anybody is interested in learning more about the relief programs, we would encourage you to register for that session. You can watch it for free on Zoom, similar to today, and we are posting it, and I'll post you the link as well.
Absolutely.
So I will leave you, Doreen, to speak to your other hat and to go on to talk about the wonderful Business Sisters.
Yes, and I will give a shout out to the speaker who will be there on next Monday, March 14th, Andrew Senge. He's fabulous. He's been a great ally when it comes to helping a lot of my business sisters in their bookkeeping needs and so on. So, all right, so Business Sisters, I will give you a little bit of, I guess, a little bit of history as to how this all came about. It is a network dedicated to rural women entrepreneurs that I founded. And it was basically as a result of, because Karma gave us a little bit of her background, and I've been an entrepreneur since 1998, and my business was Greenfield Hospitality Services, Inc. It was located in Alexandria. And it was a lead generation agency and not-for-profit consulting firm. And we were doing a fair amount of business, but never really in the area of SDNG. We did a little bit of work for some organizations in Cornwall and so on, but most of our clients were outside. And therefore, I never really had a network in the region. And when my husband and I sold the business in 2016 to an employee, I felt a little disconnected. And I felt really that a lot of the organizations that were, not to take anything away from the chambers of commerce or this sort of thing, but a lot of the organizations that I had been connected with did not have a whole lot of women entrepreneurs. So, and for some reason, I don't know why, but now I'll have to advance my slides otherwise. So essentially, fast forward to now, and we had a little bit of a slowdown because of the pandemic, but Business Sisters is a social enterprise and serving the region bilingually. En français, on est consoeur en affaires, alors tout ce qu'on essaie de faire est dans les deux langues. We are here for women entrepreneurs in rural areas, and we're serving primarily SDNG and Prescott Russell. It's not to say that we'll refuse to include, obviously, a woman from an urban center. We've had attendees at our events from as far as Toronto and Kingston, but really our focus is to really address the realities of what it's like to be a woman entrepreneur in a rural area. And I'll give you, this is actually, you see Rose right in the middle of above the lady with the bright pink jacket here. This was a photo of our, taken at the end of our conference in 2019, which was the last conference that we had. And Business Sisters was created really essentially, as I said, to help rural women entrepreneurs overcome the whole aspect of distance and isolation. You may be a woman entrepreneur on Main Street, Alexandria, but often you're not connected to the woman entrepreneur who's 2 doors down from you, or maybe in South Lancaster, or gosh, right across the county, I should say, in Winchester or in Ingleside, etc. We don't know one another. And neither do we know our business sisters often who are located in Prescott Russell. It's like the 417 acts as a wall between our two regions. So a big part of what I wanted to do was to help women really overcome that isolation that we face and the siloed existence that we often face. as I mentioned, I felt we were often not well served by traditional organizations, and primarily it's because of the female reality, which we very much saw come to play during the pandemic. Obviously, I'm going to call it out, it's International Women's Day, and it was all about the rights of women. There's still a lot of misogyny in business, in financing, right across. And one of the things we've often talked about at our conferences is the fact that from the stage, women have told us their stories about applying for a loan at a bank and being in a male-dominated sector and being turned down, taking exactly the same business plan in a husband's name, applying at the same bank and getting accepted. So that wasn't in the 1940s either. It was barely a few years ago. So there is a reality that we must confront and, I believe, come together to actually help overcome. And because the language of entrepreneurship, I've had a lot of women entrepreneurs, especially farmers, women farmers who actually run huge businesses, multi-million-dollar businesses, but I'm not an entrepreneur because it's a macho term that perhaps they don't identify with, or I'm a cafe owner, I'm a hairdresser, I'm not an entrepreneur. The language of entrepreneurship, often when you ask people, name a famous entrepreneur, they'll name you 10 men before they name you one woman, quite possibly. So we exist to change that, especially in the rural area where we are. And let's face it, we have a heavier workload at home. And the workload isn't necessarily just cooking and cleaning, the traditional female tasks, but often it's the mental load of caring for others, keeping track of whose birthday it is, and did we, book the little one's dental appointment, etc. That's often something that comes our way. So the women that at the corporate end of things who have really helped Business Sisters, I'll give a couple of shout outs. The BDC, there you are again, Rose, but as well, the organization that I work with ACC Futures, Desjardins, Perro, etc. But the corporate supporters have helped us to be able to deliver programs that are either highly subsidized or free. So what are those? Well, essentially we offer events and networking. Now those are paid. So there is usually obviously a registration fee for our events and networking events. There is a free newsletter, and we are in the process of actually finding a home and having an actual physical office. Stay tuned for more news on that. It will be located in North Glengarry, where I am, but where we'll be increasingly partnering with other organizations and offering peer-to-peer learning and strategic support. So that goes back to kind of the guidance counseling aspect that I was mentioning earlier. So the next event, if you're interested, come and look for us. We are on Eventbrite, but Business Sisters' next event is from 4:30 to 6:30 on Tuesday, March 22nd. I didn't want to conflict with all the other Women's Day events that were happening this week and next, so we've got it a little bit later in the month. And I invite you to reach out. There's our website. You can also find us on both Facebook and Instagram with Business Sisters Concert, or my email address is doreen@forloveandbusiness.com. So thank you. It was great to have you here. I'm really honored to be part of this great panel here today, and I look forward to your questions. And now I need to figure out how to stop sharing. There we go. I did it.
So we do have a question from Crystal. She says, thank you for your presentation. I am brand new to SDG area, just moved to Chrysler. Would Business Sisters be the best place to start or establish a network? I'm in the process of leasing a small space in Embrun, performing personal services in the beauty industry. I'm learning as I go, and this is my first time going into business for myself. So first off, Crystal, congratulations on launching your business. That sounds awesome. And I'm sure that there would be a number of resources available as you're going to be establishing in the Prescott-Russell side. We would also encourage you to reach out to the Business and Enterprise Center in Hawkesbury. So the Prescott-Russell Entrepreneurship Center will be there to help and assist you, as would my counterpart at the United Counties of Prescott and Russell. Business Sisters would be another great fit. I know that Doreen will speak to this in a minute, as would a number of our other resources, including Rose and many others on the call. So Doreen, I'll leave you to answer the question.
Absolutely. Actually, one of the things, we're just in the final stages of scheduling an event in Embrun. It'll be either the end of April or the end of May. The last live event that Business Sisters held was actually at Tuc de Brou in Embrun, and great event that we had. And yeah, Rose was there, and we had like 43 women in this wonderful little craft brewery run by Margot and her husband Nicolas. And so we're hoping to go back, and we have several Embrun women entrepreneurs who are a member of Business Sisters. And when I say member, I just want to say it's kind of really loosey-goosey member. You sign up with your email address, and there's no membership fee or anything like that. So it's a very informal kind of grassroots network. But yeah, we'll be in your area. And Crystal, if you want me to, I work closely with Lisa Langevin, who is at the Prescott-Russell Enterprise Center. And that's who Tara just mentioned, but I work with them. And I work also with a number of people at the Prescott-Russell CFTC, John Candy, for instance, and they have a new person in Carianne. Carianne is a new person I was introduced to yesterday. So I'm happy to make the intros and kind of learn more about your business and see how we can help.
Crystal has answered that she's very excited and can't wait to dive in. So Crystal, please feel free to reach out to us via email, and any of the other people on the panel discussion or call today. I'm happy to facilitate that on behalf of you. So if you want to email me at tkirkpatrick@sdgcounties.ca, I've included it in the chat. I'm happy to introduce you to the other ladies on the call today, as well as to any other services in the region that might be able to assist you. This presentation is also being recorded today, so it is live on YouTube. So if you want to click in the YouTube chat later, you can also flip through it there, and you will be able to look up all of the discussions from today, as well as the slide decks. So, and I can send those to you. So feel free to ask your questions with us today, but if something occurs to you later, we're happy to help you out. So feel free to reach out. So on that note, after answering these questions, I'm also going to leave it now to Kauthar Fauzi. Kauthar, welcome, and thank you for joining us today. And Kauthar is going to talk to us a little bit about the Paro Lending Circles Network.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much. I'm very, very pleased to be here with you today. So actually today I will talk about Paro. Let me just share my screen and tell me if you can see it. Do you see my screen? Okay, great. So just to introduce myself, my name is Kauthar. I'm a business growth advisor with Paro. I'm based in Ottawa, but I can work with the women all over the Ontario. So who we are a non-for-profit organization. Our main mission is to help women to get their independence, financial independence, through the partnership. So we have a lot of services that we can provide to our members, especially women. We are a women team, and we work with women. So we can provide coaching services, we can provide training services, also mentoring, but specifically, we have a microfinance service that we can go through it with peer lending circles. So I give you today a quick overview about that, how it works, and how we can apply to have microfinance with us. So just to can okay. So what about a peer lending circle? It's a group of between 4 and 7 women. Why just in business? This woman should be in business, going to start a business, or just having the mindset to have a business, or just they already have a business and they want to scale it up. So just with a monthly meeting commitment. How we can just put together between 4 or 7 women. You can just hire other women that you know around your network. We can also help you with that as a business growth advisor. We meet every day a lot of female entrepreneurs that they are interested to jump to a circle. So we can just put them together and have a meeting just to see if there is chemistry between them, and if they are like ready to go ahead for circle creation. We also have a monthly circle up meeting, so you can just follow us on our social media. The last Friday we have a meeting, circle up meeting. Just all the women that they are interested to create a circle, just register, and we have discussion, and we can just go through circle creation. Why it's benefit to female entrepreneur to belong to a circle is to provide support for women, businesses, and communities. We can also network. You can monitor each other and peer support for each other. When you have a circle, you can find your clients inside the circle. You can find your suppliers inside the circle. You can also rely on the women to spread the word about your business. You can also try new ideas, try new products. So it's really a real opportunity just to have a small committee to discuss things and share tips and share experiences. So the circle members learn to approve their circle's grant and loan too. So this is the technical process to have or for apply for a loan. So when you can apply, whenever the circle is created, you can apply to have the first stage of the loan. To talk about the amounts, I have to advance my slide, but I'm not, we can do that. Sorry for that.
I had the same thing. So if you, I don't know if you have a touch screen, but if you go at the bottom, all of a sudden, there is some very faint forward and back. Yeah, there you go.
I find them. Okay, so thank you so much, Doreen. So for the amount, we have, we have 4 stages, and we cannot go through the 4th one before crossing the 1st, the 2nd, and the 3rd one, just to have the time to establish confidence in the circle. So you have to apply for the first loan stage, which is $1,000. Half is a non-refundable portion, and the other one is like a loan, and you can repay it for $16 per month. Once the first stage is done, you can move to the second one, and after that the third one, and so on. I can, like a business growth advisor, and with all the team, support you with that about the application, how it works, and all the documents that you have to fill out. And it's really easy to go through all the process. So yeah, this is all for me about the peer lending circles. If you have any questions right now, I can answer, or later you can just reach me out. Here is my email address and my cell phone number, and I will be pleased to answer your questions. Thank you.
Kauthar, thank you so much. And I will ask, does anyone have any questions that they would like us to put into the chats? We've had some exciting discussions today with our guest speakers, of which we have, a number from our region. And we do have many other resources we're happy to share with you, depending on what type of business you're launching. For instance, if you were looking to launch an agricultural business, we can connect you with the Ministry of Agricultural reps, as well as our local municipal services that can help you. We're happy to coordinate any of those inquiries. As I had mentioned earlier on, my job is largely to help act as a concierge to economic development and to help lead you to the resources available to you. It is a duty that I share with many of those present here today. We all act very much as connectors within our communities, and we're here to help offer free services that help lead you back to the services that you might need to help grow your business or launch your business. This includes non-for-profits, so we do a lot of work with not-for-profit associations and organizations. It deals with everything from small groups. So this could be maybe you're looking to launch your own cupcake making business, but you're not sure about what you need to do that and what kind of regulations there are. We can help answer some of those questions and lead you back to the resources to help with that. You could be launching a large scale business and you're looking to purchase your first building and you're not sure about financing. We'll send you back to the financing agencies that can help you with that, Rose and Doreen and their associates. And we're here to support with those ventures. We recognize that women-owned businesses make a huge, huge difference in our communities. And many of these businesses took an enormous hit during COVID. Women-owned businesses by far were the most who struggled throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. They were the first to close, and that largely had to do with, as was mentioned today, the changing demographics. If your kids are being homeschooled, chances are men help, but women do still lead a number of those ventures. And we are anxious to show whatever support we can to help get those businesses back on track or to launch new ones, because we recognize that our region is growing right now and there's a lot of opportunity. So I thank our guest speakers from today, and I will ask if any of you have closing remarks that you would like to give. If any panelists do want to reach out to me, I am happy to discuss your businesses and to send you back out to all of the lovely ladies on this call today, as well as any other resources we can offer. And as has been mentioned, this presentation will be posted to our YouTube channel. At the county level, we also do send out regular newsletters that are based on both business and tourism insider business. So I would encourage you to sign up for those and to follow us on our social media channels. As was mentioned, we are also going to be co-sponsoring an event next Monday to talk about COVID-19 relief funding. So I will leave it to my panelists. I'll start with Rose. I see your hand is up to offer some closing remarks.
Thank you, Tara. I just wanted to say we do all connect with each other when we know if somebody's looking for something. So the more you talk to us, the more resources you'll probably find, because the more we learn about you, the more we can direct you to the right place. I mean, Doreen and Tara, as well as other economic developers, we all talk on a regular basis. Of course, we only share what we have been given permission to share, but we are always welcome. We're always, the more I learn from somebody, the more I can help them. Basically, that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you. And Doreen.
Yes, actually, it's perhaps There's a couple of things I'd love to share, and I always come at this a little bit more from the practical. But I do notice some huge gender differences when it comes to entrepreneurs, and I'd like to share a couple with you on that. Number one is there is a reality in the finances domain in the sector where individuals who are starting off a business will be asked about their spouse's occupation, assets, net worth. I am seeing men really don't care to share what their spouse makes and where and their assets. Women really hesitate or get offended when they're asked that information. I absolutely admit that at times it is our business. We don't want our spouses to be involved, but it is a reality, and it's, in my opinion, a systemic barrier that we have in the financial field. But at times women take the high road and will actually hurt themselves and not apply because they're offended by being asked how much their husband makes. And ladies, you know what? In that aspect, if you want to start a business, you need to look at the practicalities. Do you really want to have to fight those big battles? Maybe you do, but if you want financing, apply first. Learn the rules. Game the system by knowing what your rights are and what you can do and asking your advisors for help. So I go about that approach. And I also go about, if you don't ask, you don't get. So if you wait until you have the perfect business plan, you'll never get there. No business plan is ever ready. You have to tinker, you have to effectuate in order to be advancing in your business. So I'm just encouraging you to go for it. And I'm here to help if you want. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Doreen. And as somebody who administers a grant program or numerous grant programs, I will also offer the advice that typically there is a human being involved in the grant application process. And do not apply on the 11th hour on the last day the grant is due and expect that they will help you fix your grant. Send it in a week early and say, hey, is there any ways that I can make this better? This is my draft application. Can I improve upon this? Did I answer all the questions? Do you have everything you need? And there's a very good chance that a human being will write you back and say, hey, you forgot all of your attachments and there's nothing here and it's not going to be eligible this way. But if you send me your attachments, we can help you work on that. So wherever possible, reach out, ask questions, ask for help. There's a lot of people here to support your business. Many of them are on the call today, and we are happy to help you. So on that note, I will flip it back to our warden, Carmen Williams, just to see if she has any closing remarks for us. And I will note that we are very proud of the fact that Karma is our second only ever female warden for SDG counties. And we're very proud of her successes, and we hope that she will embark on a new tradition at the counties in terms of women leadership, and that our numbers will rapidly increase over the next couple of decades as some of these realities change.
Thank you very much, Tara. I do appreciate that. Power to women today, right? For sure, and today and every day. I'm wondering if Kuthar would like to go first, and then I will have some closing comments.
Yeah, I would just to highlight a point that with the COVID, there is a good side. Why? Because we have no geographic limits. So we can just meet virtually, we can network, we can have a good partnership with other women, with counselors, with organization. So just please reach out to us. We are here to help you. We are here. If you contact me for a field that I'm not in, I can just refer you to another one, to another organization. We are an ecosystem. We can just work together. And please reach out to us to work. And if there is any networking opportunity, go ahead, because there is a lot of information and resources that we share with you. So yeah, that's my point. Thank you so much.
Is it my turn, Tara?
Thank you, Kauthar. And I will leave it to you, Warden Williams.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to put my warden hat on now, and I would really like to, first of all, Tara, thank you for putting this together. You know, it takes somebody with that sort of entrepreneurial attitude to think about, okay, it's International Women's Day. What can we do in order to be able to help support our women entrepreneurs and wannabe entrepreneurs? And good for you. And our panelists, Doreen and Rose and Kauthar, thank you so much for your, it just goes to show that there are, first of all, there are a lot of women out there who are aspiring entrepreneurs. And it also goes to show that there are many resources out there and opportunities. And the challenge is, because I sit on all kinds of different committees and boards, and I hear it over and over again, you know, the difficulty, it's not that there aren't resources out there or opportunities, it's putting the people in touch with those resources that is a constant challenge. And it runs across every sector in the world that we live in. And so it's these kinds of events that are important in order to be able to connect those people. I say to every woman entrepreneur, you need to be determined, you need to be resourceful, and you need to know that you can do it. You know, we all question ourselves, but at the end of the day, you know, if you have that confidence in yourself, you can make a success out of your business opportunity. It does also make me wonder, just one last comment, that maybe a grant writing 101 for wannabe entrepreneurs is maybe one of the things that we should look at, because there's so many grants out there and nobody seems to know how to apply for them. So maybe that's a next. So on behalf of the United Counties of SD&G, thank you for attending this women's entrepreneur seminar, and it was great having you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Warden Williams, and thank you everybody on the panel and those listening today. So as mentioned, you can find a recording of this on our YouTube channel for sdgcounties.ca. If anyone has any questions or wants to reach out to our panelists, feel free to reach out to me at the counties. As I said, my name is Tara Kirkpatrick. I'm the Manager of Economic Development for SDG Counties. You can reach me at tkirkpatrick@sdgcounties.ca. You can also give me a call at 613-362-2540, and I'm happy to answer your questions and to connect you with any other resources, including those on the call. So we will leave you today on that note and wishing everyone a wonderful International Women's Day. And we hope to see you soon at our next one of these sessions.